Let's talk about Wednesday. Who can we stream in on a day that's a little bit busier than Tuesday? What are the key situations we need to pay attention to? Mickey's got the answers.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and SGA, PGA, USA. Shut up, you idiots. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Blue Sky, joshloyd.bsky.social, on Twitter at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Thank you for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free and we are available on all platforms. Go check out lockedondaily.com as well. Give it a double bang. Leave your comments, leave your subscribes, your thumbs. All of that stuff is incredibly awesome, and I would love if you could do it. We're here to talk about Wednesday's action across the NBA. We have got 9 games on, so pretty busy day. So let's talk about some streaming stuff. Let's talk about the things that we need to pay attention to here for Wednesday with the 9 games on. No back-to-backs Wednesday to Thursday, and only one team coming into Wednesday. This is of course, Clippers week, so the only team coming into Wednesday on a back-to-back will be the Clippers, and Kawhi is almost certainly going to be sitting. He's playing on Tuesday, so he will sit on Wednesday. So we know that part of it already. Let's take a look at some schedule-based things to start things off. We don't have to pay attention to that back-to-back stuff because we've already just discussed it. What we can have a look at, though, is some chunky work. Who has got 3 games left the remainder of the week, Wednesday through to Sunday? The Clippers are one of those teams, so Chris Dunn and Derek Jones Jr. and any Nico Batum, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Clippers players who are available are going to be worthwhile for you. The Nets have 3 games left as well. Thursday and then a weekend back-to-back. We know it's a 5-game week for them. Day'Ron Sharpe has been struggling, obviously, but I still do like the 3-game advantage. You could throw Zaire in there. You could throw Keon Johnson in there as well. The Mavericks, Max Christie. Now, we don't know on the status of a few guys for them. So, and some of the statuses of these players will be impacted, like Kessler Edwards, Brandon Williams, Kai Jones. So it's hard to say, hey, you're definitely getting 3 games out of them. 2 of them are injured, and then there's 2-way limits on this stuff as well. But the Mavericks are one of those teams. Cole Anthony and the Magic. He is inconsistent, obviously, but if you get 3 Cole Anthony games in 5 days, can you get 2 good ones? Yeah, I do have the cockroach Mason Plumlee on this list because he is playing pretty good minutes. He is splitting them basically evenly, if not more than BDNR. And if you want field goal percentage, a block, a steal, 2-3 assists, 10 rebounds, maybe, across 3 games. And well, that's not total, that's per game. That is, again, it's an underrated one for deeper leagues. And then Aaron Wiggins. We know that Jalen Williams is out at least 1 game, maybe more. You got the Wiggins, the Wallaces, the Dorts, the Joes, Carusos, all of these players. You could take a look at all of those guys with 3 games in 5 nights with a pretty positive schedule run coming up for the Oklahoma City Thunder. If we now take a look at some key injury statuses, maybe Porzingis is returning. He is questionable. So is Jayson Tatum. So we know that part of it. But of course, what Jaylen Brown probable. So who knows what nonsense they're going to pull. They're against the Thunder. I think all these guys play. The Bronco is out for the Thunder, so we know that part. Trae Young missed the last game. So did Karis LeVert. They're both questionable here for this one. All right, that's key to know. Kelly Oubre is also questionable, while Tyrese Maxey, who was allegedly questionable Monday, is out Monday and out Wednesday. Just tell us he's out. Just tell us it's done. Paul George obviously still out as well. Oubre is questionable. You should be shocked to know that the Raptors, who are playing a bad team, the Philadelphia 76ers, are sitting guys. Barrett is out. Dick is out. Giggity. Mobo is out. Quickly is out. And then Scott Barnes appears as questionable. Okay. Pirtle's back, but will Barnes play? Don't know. They are doing the thing that we thought they would do. And they have got a shocking schedule in terms of the reliability of the availabilities of the players. Who else are we checking on the statuses of? Brandon Clark and Zach Edey. They play the Jazz. So could this be an opportunity for bad team merchant Zach Edey to actually play well? He's got an opportunity if he's actually available. But what I thought there was a chance that Ja Morant wouldn't play, but he's not on the injury report. Luke Kennard is not on the injury report. Vince Williams, who missed the last game, is not on the injury report. And interestingly, the Jazz, Larry Markkinen is questionable. Jordan Clarkson is questionable. Kessler's playing. Collins is playing. Sexton's playing. Are they going to go full strength here? Well, they're not because Keontae George is doubtful. But maybe, is this it? The swan song for Markkinen? By the way, my bet from 2 months ago that Markkinen wouldn't play 4 games in a week is it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. Then Dallas. PJ Washington's been upgraded to questionable. Brandon Williams is questionable. It would surprise me if Williams plays. I think PJ can play, though, and that would obviously impact Edwards. It would impact Marshall, who would probably not go to the bench, but the value would reduce. The interesting thing will be with this team is, okay, you got Christie, Clay, Marshall, Edwards, then point guard. If PJ returns, does he play center? Does he play next to Edwards? Does Marshall play the 3? Does Clay play the 2? Does Christie go to the bench? Does Marshall go to the bench? I don't know what they'll do. And so we just have to wait and see on that. We've got other injuries as well to pay attention to because Jeremy Sohan missed the last game. He's questionable, but then Devin Vassell is questionable. Right wrist contusion. I've got 2 weeks before De'Aaron Fox is done. That's my guess. I think it's happening. This team is, again, it doesn't get mentioned. They are horrid. They are going to lean into this stuff hard, and it's already happening. Fred VanVleet is probable. Bradley Beal is off the injury report, so they are both returning. Impacts down line for both those teams. And then Jeremy Grant. I think he sat last game not only just because it's March, but because it was a back-to-back. So I think he probably is available to play. The other one is going to be Kawhi out for the Clippers, Ben Simmons out, Norman Powell out. All that stuff is, I think, relatively straightforward. That enables us now to talk about some streaming. Some daily streaming, some points league options across both ESPN and Yahoo. And when we look at it this way, they've actually got the same players for both ESPN and Yahoo in terms of my points league streaming options. We'll go through them. Deuce McBride, again, we're hitting different roster percentages. Now, the Knicks have a bad schedule. They play Wednesday and then one more game the rest of the week. McBride has had 2 stingers and 1 really big game. The opportunity is there, and we love opportunity. It's hard to predict game-to-game variance, but we love opportunity. So Juice has it. So you could stream him for Wednesday. You can move off after that if you want. Donovan Clingan finally had a big one last time out. He has been bad in other games. Again, opportunity. When you're given the opportunity as a starter who's got 30-plus minute upside, we're in on that. Vince Williams will probably start with Jaren Jackson out. Brandon Clark questionable. Zach Edey questionable. Williams sat the last game due to a back-to-back. Will he get more than 24 minutes? Hopefully. But I like him there. Max Christie I like too. Now, again, I don't know whether PJ is going to play. I don't know whether Brandon Williams is going to play. And they would have value. And I never put a questionable guy on these stream lists. So I've got Max Christie there. I'm putting a Dembona here. Because Andre Drummond is questionable. The Sixers are playing a bad team. There's no Maxey. There might be no Oubre. Do they do the in-game, they've been playing too much, you're going to drop them down scenario? So I am a massive Bona fan. For this game in particular, I'm actually not that big into Bona, but I do think there is value for him here for a deeper league stream, and this could be one of the games where Nurse sort of dials it down a little bit. And then with Quickly out, with Barrett out, with maybe Barnesy out, Jamal Shedd's going to start. Now you could look at AJ Lawson. He was being shocking and then very good in the last game. You could look at old mate Jared Roden, who's going to play as well. Orlando Robinson's value is down because Pirtle's back, but Sheddy is going to do a lot. I would think he's going to have to play a lot. He's their point guard. And they don't really have anybody else. So he moves into that spot as well. When we talk ESPN points leagues, well, it's just the same guys. Same order. McBride, Clingan, Williams, Christie, Bona, and Shed. That's where we sit with that. We're going to come back with category league streamers. Today's episode, though, is brought to you by Wayfair. Your home should reflect your style. And with Wayfair, it is easier than ever to make that happen. It's a simple refresh, or it's a big, full renovation of your home. Wayfair has everything that you need in one place. The huge selection at Wayfair makes it easy to find that perfect piece, no matter the space or the budget that you're working with. Cozy furniture, stylish decor, outdoor stuff, kitchen stuff, smart stuff, neat stuff, slick stuff. It's all there over at Wayfair, and the prices to fit your budget. The other thing about it, whether it's a rug or a table or a couch or a sofa or a bed or a pillow, whatever it is, you've got free delivery from Wayfair as well. So head over to wayfair.com and find something that is just your style today. That is WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. Today's episode is also brought to you by, who is it by? TurboTax. Yeah, TurboTax, because This is a message from the sponsor, TurboTax. Taxes was waiting and wondering and worrying if you were going to get any money back. And then waiting and wondering and worrying some more. And now, Taxes is matching with a TurboTax expert who can do your taxes as soon as today. An expert who gives your taxes their undivided attention as they work on your return while you get real-time updates on their progress so you can focus on your day. An expert who will find your every deduction possible and file every form, every investment, everything with 100% accuracy. All guaranteed, so you can get the most money back. No waiting, no wondering, and no worries. Now, this is Taxes. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax live full service. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app. See guaranteed details at TurboTax.com/guarantees. Let's do some Category League streaming now to get this show rolling. I don't think this show's not going to be very long. Let's talk about points and threes for Wednesday, hitting different roster percentages for different league types. With Fred VanVleet in, but Amen Thompson out, Dylan Brooks still looks like a pretty good points and threes streamer. It is always hit and miss with Brooksy. We know this. We've seen it a million times. But he's worth it. He's had more... Over the last month, I would say Dylan Brooks has had more good games than bad. Maybe that's going a little bit too far on it, but I'd say that's relatively accurate. Yeah, relatively accurate. I've got Lonnie Walker there because I do think that Oubre is in doubt to play, and I think Grimes might not play 40 minutes and might play 24 or 28 or 30 because it is a game that they want to lose against a team in Toronto who also wants to lose. So Lonnie is bad enough but can still put up numbers. Lou Dort, there is no Jalen Williams. Dort is incredibly hot and cold, much like his Houston counterpart Dylan Brooks, but the opportunities are there. Duncan Robinson, this is what he does. Zach Risachet, he was good last game, so it probably means we're getting 3 bad ones in a row. But if LeVert or Young are out, he'll get more shot attempts, and that helps. And lastly, we go to Vince Williams, who again should be a starting power forward. Might be 13 points and 3 threes. Might be 17 and 3. Hopefully the minutes bump up, but I like him. He's available like everywhere, Vince Williams. So I do like him quite a bit in this scenario. If we take a look at the next one, which is assists and steals, we're going to do that right now. Who are some guys that I look at? The Hong Kong mattress, Carson Wallace. Yeah. Wallace is, I would say, in line to start. I would say they go with, they've got Dort, obviously, Chet, Hartenstein, Wallace, and Shea. It could be Wiggins, but I think it'll be Carson. I think he could push to 30 minutes. He is hit or miss with the shooting and the scoring, but 5 assists upside, 6 assists upside, 5 steal upside. I like him here. Scottie Pippen's a tough one because Kennardy's back, but it's against the Jazz. It could be a blowout. Pippen's played 21, 22 minutes, 6 assists and a couple of steals, maybe. I got Jamal Shed there, point guard. This is what he does, nothing else. Assists and steals, we're in. Alex Caruso, more steals than assists, obviously, but 4 assists, 4 steals is a distinctly possible combination from Caruso. Mike Conley is more assists than steals, but again, that works. His steal rate has usually been good. His assist numbers are solid. He's starting. The minutes aren't huge, but they're solid enough. And then Davion Mitchell, who, interestingly, has been under 30 minutes in 3 of the last 4 games after he was rolling a 36. Now, if he was playing 36 minutes, he'd actually be at the top of this list. But he's not. But there's still the possibility that he could. So that makes him at least interesting enough where we've got to pay some attention to it, and he's got to be in that mix to stream versus a absolute guaranteed lock guy that we look at and go, yeah, he's going to give us those. Because the minutes have been down for whatever reason. I don't know the reason. I'm not Eric Spoelstra. We'll see which direction they go with, but it has been a trend that has been occurring. Let's take a look at boards and blocks as we move across to the big fellas, the big men. Who are the guys that we can take a look at here? Well, I am going to have a look at Mason Plumlee because, again, they're giving him minutes for whatever reason, and he's playing at least equal to Richards, and there's at least some value in him as a guy that, again, is just available everywhere, rightfully so, but he can give you 10 rebounds, 1 block, 2 blocks at best case, maybe, hopefully, maybe. I've got a Dembona on the list. I've got Bismack Biyombo, who had that 1 30-minute game, and then every other game's been 18, but that's okay. He can still do something. It's not a great day for blocks and board streaming. Steven Adams, and this is risky because he is cooking. His numbers are unbelievable. The last 3 games, I don't know what is happening. He played next to Şengün. Now with VanVleet returning, that does change that. But even in backup minutes, he's been unbelievably good. If you go and just off what he did the last few games, you put him at the top of this list, but He could just randomly not play, although I think his health is okay now. It's still risky, but man, the production from him has been unbelievably good. Bol is risky too, but that is one he's been dropped a lot of spots. Of course he should be. But there could be one random game where he plays 25. And he has 7 boards, he hits 2 threes, he blocks 3 shots in those minutes. I don't expect it to happen, and I'm not excited about it, but it's at least in that mix. And the same with the night watchman, Mohamed Wayauge. Now, with this squad at the moment, if LeVert is there and Krejci is back and Trae Young plays, how they distribute the minutes, the 240 game for them is actually really hard. Like, who misses out? Who's the guy that plays like down? Gay could easily go back to 14 minutes here, which is a worry, but his production has been awesome. He's been really good the last 3 to 4 games. So I'm going to include him on this list as one that we look at. The last lot of streaming before we do the stream plan option, we look at percentages. So field goal percentage, Adem Bona, Mason the Cockroach Plumlee. And yeah, for those of you in the double onyxes, there's a guy here by the name of Colin Castleton, who's on a 10-day contract in Memphis. If Edie and Clark or both are out, or even if they play, Castleton's playing like 24 minutes a night. Actually, not in Memphis. What am I talking about? He's not in Memphis. He's in Toronto. Completely forget that part of it. He was in Memphis. Now he's in Toronto. He's actually got two more games left on his 10-day contract. But we know that there's no Mobo. We know a million guys are out. Castleton can play the 4 and the 5. Pirtle is back, but he's played 23, 26, and 27 minutes the last 3 games, Castleton, and Pirtle played in one of those. So he can still get some minutes. And just a sneaky, again, double onyx guy. For your free throws, we go to Amir Coffey, Mike Conley, and Luke Kennard off the injury report. That's useful for us there. I want to come back and tell you who my stream plan options are for the day as well. Today's episode, though, is brought to you by Skims Men's. Skims Men's, they make underwear for men. That's why it's called Skims Men's. But I found out, I was like, bloody hell, let's go. And I'm getting some Skims. I love these. And they came, and they were better than anything I could have expected. No more waiting and wondering why they're only making female underwear. But now it's men's underwear, so it's designed for men. Great fits, great size options, great material. Briefs, boxers. The material, the comfort, it's perfect. Like, honestly, what more could you want from a pair of jocks than what Skims Men's is providing? So shop Skims Men's at skims.com or in the Skims stores. Let them know that we sent you. After you place your order, you select podcast in the survey and select our show in the drop-down menu that follows. And when you're looking for a gift, who wouldn't want a pair of comfy undies? Skims is the official underwear partner of the NBA, the WNBA, and USA Basketball. All right, so the last thing I want to get to here is my streaming plan for the week, the way we're going to try and track this stuff. And again, I know with all the streaming plan stuff, and people often leave a comment, this requires certain conditions about, I know that. And you got to have this, and what if someone picks, I know that. The idea of showing this and doing this is to show that the gap is so huge, that the gap can be so actually wide, that even if certain conditions aren't met, and even if my top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 options to stream are not there, the next one that comes in, the gap is so big that will cook anyway. It's not about, look, I got there by 10 points over holding this guy. That's useless, right? That's not important. It's like, we need to make the gap so big where it's like, I can't argue against this. And that's why we're doing it. Because if the results from my initial studies showed that it was close, I wouldn't bother with this. If the results from first week showed it was close, I wouldn't bother. But we're talking 2.5 times the output. So let's see who we're going to look at in our study for this week. Because in a 1-slot stream for this week, we are doing single-day streams on Tuesday and single-day streams on Wednesday. So the 2 guys I'm going to look at, Donovan Clingan's at 28% rostered on Yahoo. I've got a 30% cutoff, so he's one of them. The other one is a 45% advanced roster percentage cutoff on Basketball Monster, and Vince Williams is like 3%. So we're going to track Don Clingan and Vince Williams for the streaming plan. And that is a nice little Wednesday look ahead. If you like the Wednesday look ahead, hit the thumb on the video, hit the double bang. All of that stuff goes a long way to helping the show continue to grow and support me and fun. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.